art as a competition, thinking of who's better, who's best. Okay, but here's the counterpoint. Yeah, hey, shut up. It's fun. Okay, that's the counterpoint. Okay, it's really fun. So why not just do it? And going on beyond that, this is a way to think the amount of albums I've reviewed this year. Just take some time to spend a little extra time putting them in the spotlight before we move on to the next year, even though it seems like it might be against some of the ideals of art being above commercial concerns, the meat parade. I guess I should call this stream the 2023 meat parade. I'd get more clicks. But I actually think it does help art. And just as a reminder, I don't do negative reviews. So you're not going to get the 10 worst albums. In order for me to review things, there's 3 criteria. I've talked about this before, but maybe you've never heard it. I have to think it's good. I have to have positive feelings. I have to have something to say, and I have to have the time to do it. Now, amazingly, with a full-time job and 3 kids, I've somehow been able to review between 100 and 150 albums over the past 6 years. Okay, that's just like a ton. But the crazy thing is I could easily do 365 reviews a year. I mean, there are that many good albums that come out. Not necessarily that many good mainstream albums, but so many times people send me stuff in Instagram. I don't respond all the time because I just don't have the time to respond to all of it. And I click on, I'm like, damn, that's good. Sometimes people just send me stuff through my email. Sometimes I just click around on Bandcamp. There's so much good stuff. Like Shy Girl, I missed that release this year. I was listening to it this morning and I had to stop because I had to get back in Stampy mode. One of my most vocal auditors keeps telling me that I missed the Lemon Twigs album. Feel free to tell me in the comments if that's correct, if that was a great album. But what this is my third time, I think it's my third Stampys, trying to figure out like how to do a year-end thing. So I came up with the Stampys. The reason that I say Sky's Stamps is when I initially started this channel, it was called Sky's Sweaty Record Review. So I had a lot of S's in there. And also my favorite meme, my favorite video meme of all time is a Serbian meme called Gdeje Pečat, which I might explain in my second channel sometime, but it's all about stamps. So while we're here, if you're watching this, smash the like bucket. As they say, my personal favorite streamer to watch is a guy named Raf Football who watches Marseille games. And he always says, touch le petit pouce bleu, the little blue thumb. Do one of those for me. I really appreciate it. Subscribe. And if you put in the comments, if you're in the chat, I can't do anything with AVAAs, even though I like them. But in the chat, that stands for awesome video as always. That's my little code because I read all of the comments. Okay, now I'm going to briefly look at the chat like this, get my Schumer on. Look here. Lemon Twigs is great. Some people have been spamming Lemon Twigs. Yes, they certainly have. ALSAA. Very funny. What sort of French do I teach? History, art history, all of it. That's a good question. I teach all of it. Unfortunately, the college where I teach has closed its French program. So I have had to move around what I do as a teacher. If you're out there and you think you should learn a language, please learn a language. It'll make your life much better. Yes, Alleluia, indeed. So let's get to the categories. So we have 14 categories. And what I've done is I've put up polls in my community page. And on those community page, I let you vote for the auditors, right? So the auditors, that's what I call you because I'm a teacher. And I could call you my students, but like I just finished grading on Friday, yesterday, and it's terrible. I hate grading. You hate handing in stuff. So this is a much gentler interaction. You just come to class, you sit in the back. I don't need you to hand me in anything, and I don't need to grade it. So what I'll do is I'll talk to you about who won the Auditor Award. Okay, I have a blue Sharpie here. You see, I'm very high tech. I'm all. So I was watching. Tom Nichols is this YouTuber who is good, but I always felt like he'd never made a great video. And then he made this video all about why do YouTubers hold their microphones, and it's like he finally did it. He made this great video, and he talked about internet ugly and about the theme of internet ugly. I don't understand how I don't fit internet ugly. Look at this. Look at this. I had to like tape it together. Just come on. This is internet ugly. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's Generation X are ugly. Maybe it's zine ugly. Okay. So singer-songwriter album of the year. Okay. Interestingly, my pick is not the same as your pick. The pick for the auditors is Sufjan Stevens' Javelin with 43%. Hey, listen, that might be the best album here. I said it in my review. I'm not going to listen to it again. I'm too emotional. I'm a very emotional man. I'm very connected to my family and loved ones, and I cannot much as Pascal said, I think it's Pascal. No, it's Foucault. No one can stare at the sun without turning their eyes away. That's how I am about death. So that's not going to quite win. As for the rest of them, Mitski definitely could have won. As I said in my review, it's the kind of album that I wish existed when I was younger. I really enjoyed it, but I don't think it's my personal favorite. Eve Tumor, it's hard because to me, it feels like a good evolution of the previous album, but it didn't quite hit me as hard, maybe because it wasn't quite as new. Kara Jackson, very close to winning here. I really enjoyed that. I just reviewed it, but I didn't want to have too much recency bias, and now I can't find my red pen. You see all the kind. This is Internet Ugly, is it not? Do you know where my red pen is? Do you see it over there? Is it on the kitchen table? Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not asking the people watching. It's like a red pen over there, like a big red Sharpie. There's not. All right. Well, that's cool. I will switch to a yellow. The winner is actually going to be King K. Rool Space Heavy. That gets the stamp, and I'll tell you why. I just really like his style. I really like the atmosphere he's able to put. The lyrics are surprisingly deep, even though they're kind of meditative. This has been a year of a lot of references to 2001: A Space Odyssey and Dante's Inferno, two pieces of work that I like very much. But really, oh my God, this is like a silver Sharpie. I'm getting all these fumes. I get all weird on stream. Where is that red Sharpie? It's okay. Yeah, so that's why I'm going to start off with King Cruel getting it there. Again, this is why George C. Scott is correct, because, I mean, seriously, is King Cruel like a better album than Kara Jackson? Not really. It's just the one that I think I prefer more. Weirdly enough, I do not own any of these albums on vinyl. I would like most of them. I have Yves Tumor's last album. It's very good. He's very fun to listen to. Okay. So let's move on to the next category. I will now put on my Chuck Schumers and read the comments here. Easily the worst one. Let's go. Okay. TF is this is yellow. I don't know what that means. That's weird. My favorite of the year. I've heard a lot of good things about Lemon Twigs. Okay. I see that. Let's see. Now you're just a procrastinator. You should have got your equipment ready before the stream. I spent the last probably 45 minutes pushing my family around, making them eat and walk the dogs and do all that stuff just to get ready for this. And now all of a sudden, I'm just not ready. That's fine. So I didn't even do a poll for the non-English music. So I'm having an interesting time, because my channel's getting a lot more success. Thank you very much. There's 100 of you in the live chat. And so I had this kind of push and pull where I like getting views. I like having the feedback. I like making things that my viewers like watching. And then I also want to keep doing things that matter to me. So the Thunderground Thursday, the non-English stuff always gets less views, gets often under 1,000, but is often the most kind of rewarding. So I'll talk about these 5 acts right now, just so that you get an idea of who they are and why you should check them out. Okay. Suspect 95 is rap from Côte d'Ivoire. Now, Chancel Mbemba back there is from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. There was a great player from Marseille, and Basile Boli, who is from the Ivory Coast. But it's a great rap album that shows what I think is the future of French rap, which is Africa. Bad Bunny, which I could have put in like 5 different categories. It is such a good album. It's just really good, really enjoyable all the way through. If I put it in the pop category, it might have won. Doudou Tassa and Johnny Greenwood, Jarak Kuribak. I don't know how to pronounce that. A very enjoyable thing that Johnny Greenwood did. And if you like Radiohead and you don't listen to that, I would say you don't like Radiohead enough. Rafa Moreira, Beleza Exotica. That's a Brazilian rap album. Very interesting. Lots of interesting themes. A lot of stuff that's happening in America. The sort of dynamics between like materialism and spiritualism. It's all in there. And Portuguese is a great rap album. But my stamp of the year, this is the first one that I own, is Cécile. Her name is very difficult to pronounce. Cécile McLaurin. Or Cecile McLovin, as I thought her name was the first time. I'm going to say why you should listen to this album in one sentence, okay? medieval French poetry mixed with African drumming. Okay. Is that enough to get over your hangups that you might have over listening to something that's not in English? All right. So that's going to get the stamp here. Stamp with my little Chinese symbol there. That's there we go. Okay. And if you're an artist and you see this, like this gets clipped, hit me up on email. I will send you the page with the stamp if you want. Okay, let's get back to the ones that y'all care about more. Let's see, not too many comments on that. Let's see, Peso Plum, shout out Doodoo. Sounds great. Looks interesting. I should listen to it. Yes, you should definitely listen to Cécile McLaurin, especially if you like sort of like Mariam Makeba, sort of like world music with very strong female voices. She is kind of a throwback to that. Okay, avant-garde rap having. Now, this is an interesting category because usually this category is stronger. I'm going to be talking a lot in this stream about the state of rap music and how it's in a very sort of interesting, odd place right now. Now, you're going to see most of these are connected to, in some way, West Side Gun and the Griselda Crew. I do have a bias towards them because I live in Western New York. Also because they are making like the best music out there. What can I do? As far as the voting for this, Este Nak only got 6%. Have you heard it? It's a really good album. He's a very interesting guy. He's from Boston, where I'm originally from. Yes, I see that in the comments. Do. Oh, what's having? Oh, good. Thank you. Sizewee. So I break rap music essentially into being and having. So when rap started, a lot of it was about being somebody, right? I mean, one of the earliest rap chants is, I am somebody. But the tricky thing is, in American culture, where rap started, and in a capitalist culture like America, often your worth is determined by how many things you have. So over time, saying that you were somebody wasn't enough. Saying that you were a good rapper, the best DJ, that wasn't enough. You had to show that you were the best by showing off how much money you had, how many cars you had, how many chains you have. Weirdly enough, how many women's bags you have. It's become a big thing lately. How many butt lifts you can buy for women, weird things, right? We try to find different ways of flexing. So this is alternative rap where I would say it's about having things. And I don't consider that to be below what I call the being category. It's just a different thing. I personally prefer rap about being because I find it fascinating, right? Like I find it fascinating that for people to express themselves through rap music and express who they are. But at the same time, when I was growing up, I listened to Public Enemy, but I listened to a lot of NWA. I listened to a lot of Jay-Z, a lot of stuff. And a lot of this too, a lot of it goes in between, right? A lot of people who are having are also being, and being are also having. So that's why. I'm a French professor, so that kind of thinking is part of my thinking. Like I think about irregular verbs all the time because they're the most hard verbs to teach. So like to be and to have are always the most irregular verbs in every language because they're the words that are used the most. I'll let you think about that while I plug my merch. You can buy my mug. I tried to make, I'll tell you about some merch I tried to make, but they took it down. Tell you about that later. Anyways, so Este Nak got 6%. West Side Gun totally won this category by the auditor standards. Oh my God, y'all love this album. I thought everyone hated this album. I thought it was great too. It was really fun. I listened to it again this morning, and it was really quite good. But it's not my favorite. Larry June and the Alchemist. There's so many great Alchemist projects this year. He's sort of like one of those actors who gets nominated for like the same category and then loses because they're splitting the votes. Who did that happen with? Do you remember who did that happen with recently? No, she's not there. She went upstairs. And then we have a couple Conway the Machine projects. And this has been a weird year for my relationship with Conway the Machine. Very often, I would say that he is one of my top 5 current rappers. But I haven't reviewed a couple of his projects this year. And it's not that I didn't hear them. It's that I didn't have anything to say, or actually, I didn't really like them, which is weird because I really like these 2 projects. The project with Jay Ski's, Pain Provided Profit, excellent, like maybe some of the best 1-2 rappers, just like two guys out there just rapping and just doing a great job. And then what's going to win my stamp is Conway the Machine and 38 Special. I know y'all have not listened to this album because my review of it has only gotten like 600 views. I like this album so much, I bought the vinyl with this thing right here. This is called an Obi strip, and this is the last time I'm going to buy one of these. It's hard because they fall off. I thought they would be on there, so I hate this thing. But this album is ridiculously good. If you haven't heard it, okay? If you're someone who's like, I love rap music and there's just no good bars anymore, there's just no good bars, listen to this album. Between Conway and 38 Special, this is maybe the best bar for bar rap album this year. Maybe. We'll get to Ice Spice later, but maybe. So you are there. I heard you chuckle. Oh, okay. Anyways, so that is my stamp of the year. Let's see what's happening in the comments. Put on my Chuck Schumers. I met Chuck Schumer once. I won a prize at my university when he gave a speech. Let's see. Talking about being and having, definitely. My base, that vinyl is beautiful. It really is. Yes, it's a very beautiful design, even though I don't like the guns. And 38 Special is from Rochester, which is where I live now in the Rochester area. So that's also kind of a special thing. So, Thunderground Thursday. I've already talked about how this is like part of why I do this channel is my love of Thunderground Thursday. But realistically, in the last couple of weeks, oh, by the way, this is also going to be sort of a state of the channel kind of thing. So that's why I'm sort of saying like, ask me anything ish in there, in the comments and stuff, the chat and comments too, for that matter. But like, I'm probably going to be doing less Thunderground Thursday because I've started doing like single song breakdowns and people are loving it. And truthfully, I'm getting a lot out of it. Like the thing I did on the Smiths and RXK Nephew, like it's really enjoyable. So unfortunately, I might be getting to less Thunderground Thursdays. I don't know. But the winner from the audience, and it was not close, was Dev Lemons. Now, Dev Lemons is not going to win for me, even though I did like that album a lot. I really enjoy Dev Limes. I really enjoy her YouTube channel. We've talked on like private message about like maybe doing something together at some point, but she's so big that I get uncomfortable asking people for stuff. And then Puma Blue, speaking of people who talk to me, Puma Blue. So the greatest regret. So my daughter's over there, and Puma Blue played a show in Toronto, which is a few hours away from me. And they like put my name on the guest list, and they were all ready to have me there. And I'm really bummed because I suspect that Puma Blue is like the best concert I could have seen this year. And I've seen some really, really great shows this year, which I'll talk about soon. But I didn't get to see it. It's not going to win, and it didn't get very many votes either. That got, I don't even know, I think 5%. Then we talk about Chez Noir and Big Ghost, again, sticking around the Buffalo thing. So I don't like to just talk about like the best female MCs because I feel like that's too limiting. But at the same time, there are fewer female MCs than there are male MCs. So I'm just going to say, I think Chez Noir is the best female MC out there. And I have problems with that too. So feel free to tell me your problems with it in the comments if you wish. Public Body is just awesome. If you like simple, straightforward post-punk rock and roll, why haven't you listened to Public Body? It only got 3% of the vote. It only got 3%. But oh my God, is it a really, really wonderful album? And then what will surprise absolutely nobody, recent interviewee, Lauren. Now, I almost don't want to give this to her because she pronounces her name wrong. She pronounces it Otter when she grew up in France. So it should be Ode, but I'll respect. Lauren Otter absolutely gets the stamp. I learned so much about this album, which I already loved when I did that interview. I already own the vinyl. It's one of my favorite vinyls. It's one of the ones I've played the most this year. Ooh, it's see-through. Wait, I'm getting some kind of weird static electricity on there. So That is my Thunderground Thursday. And I often say that if you watch my Thunderground Thursday videos, you are a real one. I was told by someone not to call people real ones, so I'm not going to do that anymore. When my channel was called Sky Sweaty Record Review, I would refer to my fans as sweatshirts. Um, my wife pointed out that that sounds like brown shirts. So if you watch my Thunderground Thursday videos, if you watch my videos that don't get a lot of views, you are officially my sweatpants. Sounds. I thought that would be funnier than it was. So props to Law and Order for that one. Let's see. Let's see. I love the Chez Noir, but I get it. Yes. What does Thunderground mean? Good question. So during COVID, my family and I did a thing. My extended family and I did a thing called Taco Thursday. So the joke is that Taco Tuesday, we did Taco Thursday. So it's just kind of a joke with having alliteration, but then adding a th. So it's just sort of one of those things that I do where I like playing with language. And that's when I was in high school, I was a bad student, just all around, especially in French class. But the main thing that I loved, and that was sort of an indication of my intelligence, was just playing with words and messing around with them. So Thunderground Thursday comes from that. Let's see. I saw Puma Blue in Nashville. I'll confidently say it's the best concert I've ever seen. I've seen many. I know. I really wish, but it was a school night, and we got a baby in the house, and it was just too much. Someone says Sally and Bob by Professor Sky is the track of the year. Yeah, if you don't know, on Bandcamp, I released a bunch of my old music. I haven't recorded any new music for private consumption in like 23 years, but I slowly been putting that stuff up on Bandcamp. Some of it's pretty good. I don't think I would review it if I sent it to me, I wouldn't review it, but it's not too bad. All right, let's get to the pop category, shall we? Now the pop category is cool because each one of these could win for different reasons. Okay. Now Lana Del Rey could win because I've probably heard it the most because my daughter is a Lanistan. A Lanistan? Is it Lanistan? Okay, it's neither of those. She's a Lanistan, as you can tell by the oops, I don't want to harass this photo. As you can tell by the exclusive vinyl. And so I've heard it a lot, and I really enjoy Lana Del Rey's music. But it's not going to win. Sorry. It got 25% of the votes from y'all. Doja Cat only got 3% of the votes. And I would just like to say, Doja Cat deserves a lot more credit and respect than she gets. That album was ridiculously solid, very good. I understand, like SZA was last year, so it's not going to count here. I understand the SZA love, but it almost feels like people can't hold in their head that both of these artists can exist in the same time, and they just have to give all of the acclaim to one and none of the acclaim to the other. I really thought that Scarlet was a very interesting and fun album. Now these two, Caroline Polachek and Carly Rae Jepsen, were very close to me. They were very close to winning. As a matter of fact, up until, oh, and by the way, this is what won the Auditor with like 46%, I think. It won in a landslide. And I listened to it again this morning, and I definitely really liked it. I'm still disappointed by the Sega Bodega track because Sega Bodega is one of my favorite kind of hyper pop weird producers, and I still think it just sounded like a Gerudo Valley outtake. But in the end, I just have to be honest. Like, if we're talking about pop music, what are we talking about? Are you talking about pop music? That Olivia Rodrigo album is track after track after track of, as you kids say, bangers and bops. That's all it is. The whole thing is perfectly created. And her last album is great too, but this one's even better. The thematics are more interesting. It's like slightly dark. It does all those things that pop music can do. And it's just sort of unfortunate that in this world that we live in right now, that doesn't make her sort of a bigger star. I mean, Caroline and Carly Rae Jepsen, I'd say artistically are more interesting. They're doing more interesting things. But as far as like pop stuff, that Olivia, and by the way, that was a this morning decision. I was sitting over there in the baby pit, and I was listening to all these albums. And up until this morning, it was going to be Caroline because Desire, I can't get enough. I want to turn into you. That was a great song, right? I mean, that one song almost carried this all the way through. But wow, the Olivia Rodrigo is great. And let us all praise Daniel Nigro. Jack Antonoff, the producer, let us off the hook this year. We haven't had like 17,000 Jack Antonoff projects. You can tell me in the chat, what has he even done this year besides like helping Taylor with her reissues, which don't count on this, by the way. That's why there's no Taylor Swift anywhere here. Weird. Okay. All right. Now to look at the comments. Guts is a perfect pop record. That's what I'm saying. Reminds you of Melodrama. Too many bangers and popless. That's a very good point. Is this the most pop award or the best pop award? Mr. Caspian, that is a very good question. And I don't know if I have an answer. That's the whole point of this thing, right? I'm giving you, some other YouTubers give you the top 50. This is 14 categories, 5 albums each. I'm giving you the top 70 of the years. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, some of this has to be artificial. Any hosers in the chat? I assume that means Hosier fans. Hosier. Oh my God, am I going to piss them off again? How do you pronounce it? Any hosier? Listen, y'all are mean, super mad at me. It's okay. I really like that album. Not on here, but I really like it. Major part of pop's appeal is the accessibility. Caroline may be more interesting. Olivia has that reach. Yes, scaring the hosier. Okay, now for speaking of controversy, art music. I forget who said it. Someone said it when I posted these on. Oh, by the way, is this like cool having this right here? I can't tell if it's like, I'm respecting the law of thirds, which I never do. In my videos, I'm intentionally right in the center because I'm a professor. I'm not a YouTuber, But anyways, I don't know if this is visually interesting enough, but okay. It says looks great. It's cool. Awesome. This is way easier. Should I do more live chats? I don't know. It's fun. So what do I mean by art? Now, all this music is art. Okay. Ice Spice is art. Ice Spice is no less art than Slauson Malone. Okay. There's no part of me that's saying that there's any kind of great division. If there's one thing I'm insisting on my channel, I'm talking about human creation. All of this is the beauty of human creation. We need to be humanists if we're going to survive this century, the next century. We need to see each other's value, learn through each other's experience, figure out how we live. And all art, folk art, high art, it doesn't matter what it is. All of it does that. So why did I call this art music? All that I'm saying with this category is I'd say music that intentionally sidesteps popular appeal in the name of a specific artistic vision. That doesn't mean that the rest of them don't do that too. Realistically, if we're going to be totally honest, I just wanted, there's too many good albums, Like I didn't include any of Nas's albums on my list, and like at least 2 of them were good. I think there's only 2 of them. There's so many stuff I didn't include. It's driving me crazy. The Hamilton, the Worm, that's not on here. So I tried to come up with interesting new ways of creating new categories. So that's why we have the new categories, art and I Miss Kanye. So first there is Arm & Hammer, which is not going to win, but oh my God, listen to this album again. And it is just so unbelievably good. Definitely wins We Buy Diabetic Test Strips. I have a lot of side categories. That wins the stamp for the best album title of the year. Maybe the best album title since I started this channel. If you don't know why, watch my video. I go into great depth about it. So it doesn't win, but again, top 5. Okay. Slauson Malone, I just reviewed it. It's maybe the most artsy fartsy of all these, and it's really good. That's not going to win either, although there's a chance if I sat with it longer, it would be there. Model Actrice Dog's Body, that's another one that came about recently that it could be in the post-punk, it could be in the rock, but there's something about the tone of it. I don't know. It seemed to make sense in this category. That's not going to win either. Nor will the preposterously popular audience award winner JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown. I don't blame you. I re-listened to this album again this morning. Obviously not the whole thing. I'm kind of skipping through. It is absolutely a great album. Some of the themes. So because I like Danny Brown so much, and I like this transformation that he's made, hearing these old sort of cokey, drunky stuff, I relate to it less. It maybe feels a little too edgy, internety for me, even though it's absolutely wonderful. And so that's why, even though they only got, and I do not know the pronouns for Kristen Michael Hader, so I'm just going to say they for now. So tell me in the comments if somebody knows. See if anyone knows Kristen Michael Hader preferred pronouns are. No answer. All right, gonna family feud it, gonna keep on moving, but that is absolutely what gets the stamp. If you see my review of it, you know the amazing religious experience that I had listening to this album with my daughter. It is an amazing piece of work. It really is, and I imagine that's probably going to be on the top of Fantano's list. So I don't want to seem like I'm biting from him, but I always say that we're very lucky that Fantano's at the top of this food chain because I think his taste is very good and I think his force is very good in culture. And that's one of the things he's really done is help to push them. Still no answers. Okay. Helps to push Christian Michael Hader forward. So that's going to get my vote. I really, really enjoyed that album a lot. But again, like when we're talking about the point of this channel, the point of this channel is supporting art. That's why I don't say bad things about bad music, right? I mean, all of these, like we could easily be sitting here saying there's no good music anymore, but I started this channel in September 2018, right before my 41st birthday, because I was positive there had to be good music out there. And just look at the breadth of experience and life that's on here. All of this stuff, every single thing on here is great. That's where we are. All right. She, according to Wikipedia, sounds good. Armand Hammer, my absolute favorite year. Your review helped me get into it, and I just can't get enough. Oh yeah, also we have the avant-gardeometer back there, which I made for the Armand Hammer album. I really enjoyed it. Oh yeah, so someone said the saved review is certainly up there as one of your best reviews. But what's your favorite video of the year that I did? I mean, that sounds like a really pretentious thing, but not pretentious, egocentric. But, you can tell me in the comments, what was your favorite review that I did or your favorite video I did this year? I'm curious to know because it might be the most popular video or it might be, our CRXK nephew. That was the most popular for our dear wall socket, Eve Tumor. Oh, cool. Squid review. Nice. No Mike burning his. Yeah, see, Mike is another great example. I didn't connect to that album the same way many people did, but wow, is this tough to figure out who gets nominated and who doesn't. Okay, so I put this in here to remind myself of some of the other categories, sort of the these were the awards that were given in a previous ceremony. Presumably over on my other live stream, which I guess is still up there. Is it? Oh God, I hope it's not up there anymore. I guess I can delete it. Can I delete this thing? I'm actually over here right now in the other thing. I should do that later, Sky. Yeah, do that later. So let's talk about album cover of the year. Now, there's a lot of great album covers. Murder Capital had a great album cover. Ice Spice album cover is very memorable and meaningful. But I think the best album cover of this year, and it's not particularly close because this is such a great album cover, you're going to have to look at my phone, is from Quanic. Okay. So this is actually by, I wrote his name down here, Chris Thompson, who is the same artist that did the album cover of Sunny Day Real Estate. And it's just so evocative and it speaks a lot. And Quanic, that video didn't do particularly well. Just watch out for them because they are making some really great bedroom rock that's also not bedroom rock. Okay. So, I got a super chat. So I think I'm going to do that. That's some kind of currency. I don't know what it is, but there's 100 of it. Thank you very much, Braun. Dug your conversations reviews in 23. Not bad for a hobby I picked up in the lobby. That's true. Hiding Places is the best review this year. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun with Woods this year, talking about him a lot. So that was my album cover of the year. Now, I have 2 rap verses of the year, and feel free to tell me again in the comments and in the chat, wherever you want, what was your rap verse. I'm going to have 2 different kinds. We're going to have form and content. For form, if you saw my 38 Special video, you'd know that this verse right here by 38 Special, it's all based, it's this multisyllabic rhyme based on Move These Blocks. It's off the song Latex Gloves, and it's just totally killer. That's why I said, you like bars? We're talking bars. You absolutely have to listen to 38 Special and Conway Machine, Special Machinery. So that is, in my opinion, for the form, the verse of the year. Now I'm going to take a second here to talk about one of the songs off the album Maps by Billy Woods and Kenny Siegel. So another concept I have is, I don't know if you know this, but there's like a ship. I don't know. It's not a satellite. It's like a spaceship called Voyager. I think it's called Voyager. And it's being sent into space. And it keeps taking pictures. And it's just flying out there faster than you can imagine. And if we ever come into contact with alien life forms, it'll probably be with the Voyager spacecraft. And on that spacecraft is a gold vinyl with like a bunch of different songs, a bunch of different genres, folk music, pop music, all that stuff. So I think for this year, if we were to pick one song to sort of represent where we are as a species, where we are in art, I would pick the song 0 Hour by Billy Woods and Kenny Siegel featuring Danny Brown. First of all, it has the guest appearance of the year. Danny Brown's verse on that song. If you haven't seen my interview with Woods and Kenny Siegel, he talks about how that special bit went on, how that verse went on, and it's one of the funniest stories I've had on this channel. But also, I think Billy Woods' verse is the Voyager verse. I quit looking for solutions, bought a pistol, and learned how to use it. You can't fix stupid. Apes stood and walked into the future, march of progress, and hunchback infant in front of the computer. Sooner or later, it's going to be 2 unrelated active shooters. Just this idea of this, how I read this, is that the universe is going to end when unrelated active shooters run into each other, right? Just the disparity of humanity. Hangman, one look, all it take their measurements. My taxes pay, police brutality settlements. It's true, they do. Quicksand every direction, so go ahead and step on in. Common sense tells me my ancestors was the worst. Kids, you and your friends are going to have to start again. We fucked up, poisoned everything we touched, withered and died, burned it down with us inside, burn it to the ground and make sure we don't survive. That verse, to me, is all of our anxiety, all of our pain, the sense that we messed up as a civilization, the sense that we are in some kind of deep low point. It doesn't matter where you are on the political spectrum. We all kind of have this sense of feeling of dread. So that's what, year 0. Thank you. I call it 0 year because I from time to time go on phases where I read a lot of Batman comics, and the Snyder Capullo, they had a whole run called 0 year. So I get that mixed up with year 0. Yes, Danny 2 Phones Brown. So, and then finally, there is the Bismarck Award, which goes to the rap producer who produces his own or her own tracks the best. And that's going to go to Aesop Rock for the album ITS. Just absolutely astounding. That's why I created it. Okay, so now we have 200 more unknown currencies. Favorite album is Love and Exile. One of the band members of VJ Year, Department of Music at Harvard. Look up Tiny Desk. All right, haven't heard it, but I'll check it out. Very cool. I'm doing the YouTuber thing where I pay more attention to people who do super chats, but you can't help it. Okay. So let's talk about alternative rap being. This is where I'm talking a little bit more about like being as opposed to having. Now, y'all, just the whole world. Not only are you sleeping on Doja Cat, but Chase Skis. Okay, it's not going to win. It's not. I don't think it's the best album of the year, but this is great. Look at that. Look at that on the vinyl. Little sign there. But this, by the way, wins the Stampy if you like someone rapping about sneakers. Wow. But this is a very, very good album that got literally 0%. Would you please go and vote for it? Okay. The track Bonneville has one of my favorite half verses of the whole year. Hair store, gas station, boarded bendo, hair store, liquor store, potholes. It's whacker than our airport. It's true. The Buffalo airport is pretty whack. Do you know what airport is not whack? The Rochester airport. True story. It is the Frederick Douglass Airport. Go ahead. Go ahead. You tell me of a cooler airport name. Charles de Gaulle, John Wayne, bunch of fascists. Frederick Douglass. Okay. Someone said in the comments, we know you're picking Danny Brown. That got 22%. I'm actually not picking Danny Brown. I did really like that album, but I don't think it's my favorite album of all of these. Earl Sweatshirt and Alchemist. This did prompt me to get, I'm sorry, I'm looking up on my, what the hell? What is going on in my preparation today? Here it is. I did buy his dad's book of poetry. Pretty interesting stuff there. Again, another great Alchemist project. That got 19%. Aesop Rock only got 8%. And Billy Woods got 51%. Now, this is the closest I've come to having a tie. Because this album, like, is such a joy. You know, like... It's like fun. It's well produced. It's so memorable. There's so many songs on here, like Pigeonometry and On Failure, just songs that you just like think about. And like the what's your favorite? Yeah. For Aesop Rock. Oh, I love Rivers. Yes. I love Rivers, you know, but it's got to go to Billy Woods and Kenny Siegel. And not just because I interviewed them, but obviously that doesn't hurt. And it's not like they buy access or whatever. It's that it helps me to get deeper into the album. But it is just such an amazing project with so many good beats. This is the first one that wins both the Auditor and the Stampy. You know, I made a stamp for last year's Stampys. Like I ordered it off of like not stamps.com. I'm not sponsored. As far as I can tell, there's no real reason to do stamps.com unless you mail a lot of stuff. But I love the post office along with the USPS. Yes, and the first year the stamp was a potato, which was made by Goat, who's in the other room. But she didn't do it backwards, so it said Maps or Stam. No, it said Stam. It said Stam because she couldn't fit stamp on there, and then the P didn't fit. But then I had an official stamp made. But then my wonderful, amazing, talented wife, the Dr. and Mrs., redid this entire room. Like, it's crazy. Like, the only thing that's the same in this room as it was before is Velvet Underground, Kafka, Grateful Dead, and Doors poster, and the couch. That's it. And so somehow I lost my stamp. So anyways, it said stamp on the stamp, and it had my little, that's my that's my signature basically. It's my name in Chinese, but done in a stylized way where there's like an E in it. It's not cultural appropriation because I've done it since I was 10. Okay, it is cultural appropriation. Okay, now to read some comments here. Soon to be biographer Billy Woods. That's an interesting idea. Maybe I could get, it's Indian rupees. Awesome. Very cool. I didn't know what that was. Yeah. Don't invite me to your house. Ask me to remove my shoes. Yeah. That line, Paul Johnson, that line, like absolutely, totally almost swung that whole category for me just because I love that line so much. Okay. Can someone make Geese win in a year-end list? Come on, Prof Sky, take care of it. Okay, because we're on to rock right here. All right. Oh, the Puffy Chicken said, I saw Billy Woods 3 times this year. Well, Puffy Chicken's in the chat. You can tell me, was it worth seeing him 3 times? I've heard that he's great in concert. Like, did you sort of get tired of it the 3rd time? We'll see the answer to that when I get back. Okay, so now the rock. So I have 2 different categories for rock. I have post-punk and rock. It's kind of a nebulous thing because some of this is kind of post-punk and some of the post-punk is rock, and post-punk itself is kind of a weird term, but it's sort of a congressional definition of pornography. Like, I consider post-punk what I consider to be post-punk. So this is just sort of general rock stuff here. Okay. So let's just talk about the vote. So the winner for the audience was Geese, 3D Country, with 39%. This is the most equitably dispersed. Silver Cord only got 8%. A lot of people, including people in the chat here, think it should have gone to the Techno Dragonovich. No, Silver Cord is absolutely awesome. I almost bought it yesterday, or I mean last week at the Record Archive. I'm not sponsored by them, but if I had a sponsor, it'd be them. Best record store in the world, right here in Rochester, New York, 33 and a third Rockwood Lane. I almost bought it. But I spend less money on vinyl because I've got a baby. So my stack of vinyls, but I want every single one of these albums. Swan's got 19%. Very, very, very good album as well. It's not going to win for me because the competition's so great. Boy Genius, when it comes to albums, so music that my daughter likes tends to get a lot of representation on this channel because she listens to it a lot. And a lot of people are just, oh yeah, oh dang, it's a live stream. It is live stream. 2 a.m. Southeast Asia. What's up, Southeast Asia? I've never been Southeast Asia. I've been to other parts. So my daughter really, really, really loves this album, but it's not going to win. It's not going to win. And it's not because of the reasons I see everyone saying it's standard stuff that people have been hearing. I don't know why people are going crazy. Listen, just because someone gets nominated for Grammys does not mean their music is bad. Okay. You saw that with Wet Leg. There does appear to be a bias towards inspirational women-fronted rock and roll music by the Grammy voters. Side note, Wet Leg and Boy Genius are both great music on their own. So fine. Better than whatever random crap they've nominated for Grammys. I review 100 to 150 albums a year. And when I look at the Grammy list, I haven't heard of most of the artists. How is that possible? I don't understand it. Another one that almost won was Heavy Heavy by Young Fathers. So if you don't know Professor Sky Lore, I didn't listen to new music hardly at all between 2002, 2018, but I did get Tidal to listen to Life of Pablo. Once I did that, I started listening to new music randomly on the Tidal page. That's how I discovered, what's her name? Sophie. That's how I discovered Sophie. I had no idea who she was. I just liked that song Face Shop. I played it for my kids. They're like, turn this off. Now they're all like, Dad, Face Shop is a good song. I know it's a good song. And then the other ones was Young Fathers because they had this song In My Head. And it was just a really, 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 really great album. And that's one of the few albums I enjoyed. And this is better than that album. It still has a very disconcerting cover. And it comes with a disappointing poster. The vinyl comes with this poster, which is just not nearly as cool as I would have liked it to be. So this, in my view, thank you very much, Isaac. I said in my head. I love the song so much. I don't know what it's called. So this almost won as well. Lemon Twigs sneaks in and wins. I should give it to Lemon Twigs just because you're all so insistent. But this is a back-to-back case where the stamp and the audience is in conjunction. Geese is so good. That album is so good. I understand why people call it dad rock because it's the kind of music that if you like classic rock, it does not put up a lot of barriers for you to enjoy it. So if you like Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones in the 70s and the Beatles and you hear them, you'll like them. But much like with Boy Genius, that doesn't mean you should discount them just because they make good music. It's not, I almost think we could do like a Greta Van Fleet Geese line that like on one side is like just straight pandering to boomers and Xers who think that music is no good anymore. And then on the other side is the sort of Geese line of sort of like making good music that happens to appeal. I don't know. Yeah. See, someone named Jobo said, my parents like Geese and they don't like anything new. Okay. Did Nax Out Jim Duggan make the cut? No, it did not win, but it was nominated. Heavy Heavy is the worst here. Not gonna lie, I think it's really good. Boy Genius, best show I saw next to National King Gizzard. I still haven't seen King Gizzard yet. I saw the Swans in London playing the new album. They played it in a way I could recognize. Total Force of Nature show. I've never seen the Swans. I've been a Swans fan since like the mid 90s, but never seen them in concert. Let's see here. Let's see. The line had a reference by Woods earlier. Okay. I never got an answer about whether or not it was worth. Oh, there it is. 100% worth it, says Puffy Chicken, for seeing Billy Woods 3 times in concert. I still haven't seen it. It's weird because I live in a city that's an hour and a half from Buffalo, an hour from Syracuse, 3 hours from Toronto, 5 hours from Columbus, basically. So like I can sort of see shows, but I'm sort of in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of a mixture between them. What's my favorite Swans album? Soundtracks for the Blind. That's my favorite. But that's, I also really like Leaving Meaning from a couple years ago. And the thing I did, so Gyra, I don't know how you say his name, but Gyra has always offered to like sell you signed CDs and records through his website. And I've always wanted to do that. So I finally did that with Leaving Meaning. So I'm very excited. I like autographs. It's very stupid. Every time I do an interview, just so you know, if you ever see me do an interview, the whole time I'm biting my tongue, not asking them to send me autograph stuff. You know why? It's because it was baseball. When I was a kid, I used to really be into baseball. Okay. Now for the next two categories, we are going to consider them at the same time. Mainstream rap and I Miss Kanye. Let me describe the I Miss Kanye bit here. I miss Kanye. I know that he's going to be releasing an album next week / never. Who knows? Okay. I know he's going to keep making music. I am probably going to talk about the music. Maybe, maybe not. I can't tell. It's ethically blurry to me to whether or not there's an ethical way to discuss his music without endorsing him. Oh, I got to turn down the volume on my thing. Oh, really? Is my password required? I'll just type it right here on the live stream. But there's a huge hole in my heart, like a giant hole in my heart and in my head of the art that he would make that I would enjoy. So since my son, when he was in the back of a car in Goleta, California, okay, that's how long ago, back when I was getting my doctorate, and him telling me that 808 and Heartbreak was good when he was like 3 years old. Since that moment, I've given my heart and soul over to Kanye. Again, I was into him 2002. I remember hearing Jesus Walks when I lived in Oakland in 2002, whenever it was, 2004. I don't remember. 2004, I guess. But like from 2008 until like last year, I could always depend on him doing something crazy and amazing and interesting and move the art forward. And now it's gone. It's gone. And it's sad. It's sad. To me, it's sad. I don't like what he's saying. I don't support what he says, but it's also sad. I actually talked about making merch that said, I miss the new Kanye, because Ye is sort of the enemy, and Kanye, like the new Kanye, that's what I missed. I actually designed the shirt and I put it up on my merch store and they took it down. So yes, thank you, 04. I lived in Oakland in 2 different times, but obviously, yes. So what does that have to do with these 2 categories? Well, this right here, this category is weak ass. Mainstream rap, this is rough. This is a rough category. I had to pad this category. Destroy Lonely, Ken Carson, Sky, are you tripping? I am tripping a little bit. I just didn't review that much mainstream rap because there wasn't that much good stuff. There just wasn't. Like last year, that Future album, the Metro Boomin stuff, the 21 Savage, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of really good mainstream rap out there. But here it's fairly weak. Now, the winner for the audience was totally Ice Spice. But as far as I'm concerned, like I like the Scary Hours EP a lot. That could almost be there. But I'm gonna give it to Nicki Minaj. Because like I like that album and I like Nicki Minaj. And much like Doja Cat, something's going on here. Something's happening with African-American female pop stars and the amount of time they are allowed to be in the spotlight. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm saying there's culturally something happening. Okay. So the reason, though, that this category is so weak is that this category is so strong. So many, like, pop mainstream rap artists are trying to do the I Miss Kanye stuff, which is a reminder of, despite the despicable things that he says and purports to believe, he is still shaping our culture. Okay? It doesn't matter what we say. All right? He's still shaping our culture. So these are the reason I put them in this category is because it's like this whole idea of like rap music doesn't have to be rap music to be rap music. Being a rapper doesn't mean you can't be something else. There's one thing Kanye has proven to us is you, if someone tells you what you are, you get to figure out what you are yourself. So Drake's not going to win. That's there. Only Jay Skis got less votes, which is why you have to go and you have to vote for Jay Skis because Drake only got 2% on this vote. I only included him on there because the way that his stuff is bloated and with the guest appearances, it sort of feels like the same way that Certified Lover Boy was kind of a weak echo of Donda, you know? Okay. Slow Tie is not going to win, not because of the allegations. Now, I take those allegations seriously. Innocent until proven guilty, so I don't know. I don't know the facts of it. So Slow Tie, what the cool thing is, these are 5 albums representing 4 different countries, which is pretty cool as well. It's a very catchy, great album. And then Genesis, Owusu, and Lil Yachty, all these together is showing that rock music and rap can be together at the same time, and it doesn't have to be Limp Bizkit. It doesn't have to be. It can be Limp Bizkit. Won't make it on this list if it's Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit. But it doesn't have to be. And these albums are quite amazing. But really what it came down to is this great debate. Now, Utopia won the Auditor Award. And this came down to a real absolute debate. Okay, I'm just kind of looking here. Struggler was great. Yes. Someone said in honor of Kafka, yes. Struggler, if you haven't listened to Struggler by Genesis or Owusu, you are really missing out on a truly great rap album. All 4 of these albums are absolutely amazing, and you should definitely listen to them. For All the Dogs is fine, but it's not better or worse than anything else. But the Travis Scott versus Lil Yachty debate. So yesterday, up until 6 o'clock, it was going to go to Lil Yachty. And I discussed that. I drove with my son. There's a local chain, a burger place called Tom Walls. It's like 30 locations. They serve burgers. For some reason, this is an important thing for you to know. They serve burgers where the meat is bigger than the bun. Okay. But the meat is also bigger than the plate. It's a very annoying thing, but the burgers are very good. And basically the entire time that we're there, the entire time we drive there and back, we're having this very advanced debate about whether or not, as he says, Travis Scott is the best album of the year and is better than Lil Yachty or not. And it's back and it's forth. And I put up another poll on my YouTube page saying what was a better rap album. And Travis Scott won that as well, 61%, with everyone saying that Lil Yachty's album is not a rap album. I think it is. I think when rappers make music, even if it's not a rap album, it is inherently a rap album. That's my perspective. I'm not trying to put them in a box. I'm trying to have people's idea of rap change. Again, going back to Kanye with 808 and Heartbreak. Is that a rap album? I think so. Okay. So we had this whole debate going back and forth. We listened to each album. You know, we're skipping between tracks and tracks and tracks and tracks. And really, he just changed my mind. He just changed my mind. I knew that Travis Scott album was great. You know, I knew it was great. But hearing him talk about it, going song by song, his relationship with it, the dynamism of it, and the thing that really helped me to understand it was what he said is he responded to what everyone's been saying in my comments. Yeah, but Travis Scott isn't saying anything. He just seems bored. And as my son pointed out, that's what he's saying. He's bored. Even when he credibly was accused of contributing in some part to people's deaths, his response was kind of bored and disinterested. Like that is part of his expression. And as my son said, you can tell this was being done for 5 years. When it comes to missing Kanye, it absolutely came the closest. Absolutely came the closest to making me feel like I was listening to Kanye and getting that hole filled. But it's almost tied with Yachty because Yachty was the same kind of deal. Like, oh my God, what's going on? Someone can actually do it. So see, someone here in the comments said, would you say Igor is a rap album? Yes, but I wouldn't say it to Tyler, the Creator, because he doesn't like it being called a rap album, so I'll respect him on that. What the hell is he describing? I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about. So Lil Yachty, Travis Scott basically tied, but after a whole long series of discussions, it's got to go to Travis Scott. Also, I'm seeing Travis Scott in concert next week. I'm super excited. I thought that he canceled the show. He still may, but who knows? All right, the plate burger. Yes. Oh my God. What I do is I make them give me a bigger plate. I'm a kind of a big shot. I'm like, could you put it on the fish fry plate? Someone said Lil Yachty ain't really saying anything either. Yeah. Again, like what people are saying, that's a whole nother debate. Okay. So now another category, the post-punk category. This is always the toughest category for me to figure out because like the lowest vote getter, Gigi's Recovery, 4%. Are you guys crazy? Are you gals and NBs crazy? That album is so good. That album easily could have won this whole thing. One of the best album covers, great post-punk delivery, great thematics. It is so good. If you like any of this music and you don't know Murder Capital, you're really missing out. Same thing with Proto Martyr, only getting 8%. I thought they broke up. They didn't break up. Another really great album. It's not going to win. But what we really do is we get down to these three here. Okay. Now, this one, Live at Busch Hall, won the audience award quite convincingly. And obviously, I am a absolutely huge Black Country New Road fan. Probably my favorite active band. Okay. It's not going to win. I'll explain to you why. I like it as a representation of where they are right now. Even if this ends up being their full band setup, it's always going to be a transitional album. And it's a live album. And in general, I don't like live albums, but it's a great representation of that show. Now, I saw Black Country Road and Black Midi in concert this year. Just a reminder, if you're an old person out there, like, no. If you're a young person, don't look back wistfully at like the shows that Professor Sky must have saw in the 90s. Okay. With the exception of like Radiohead, you didn't miss much. I mean, Nirvana was fine. Okay. Primus was pretty cool because that guy is a really fun bass player, but I'm sure he's just as good now as he was then. Okay. Young Pearl Jam was pretty wild. Okay. All that kind of stuff is pretty wild, but like, just if you live anywhere near where Black Country New Road or Black Midi are playing, I have never seen shows better than that. So I'm very happy to have this. And this is definitely the album I've listened to the most this year. This is the most time on the record player, a humble bragging law. There's nothing humble about it. I'm super proud of all the shows I went to. I was very lucky. So it's not going to win for that reason. Now, it does win in a lot of other ways, like they're still like my favorite band. So anyways, I feel weird not picking them. Squid almost won the audience award with 32%. I like it a lot and I listen to it, but straight up, y'all are sleeping on Shame. Now, I guess it could be because they're older. I don't know, and whatever. They're probably in their like late 20s as opposed to early 20s. First of all, album cover, perfection. Perfect album cover. Top 5 album cover, no question. Beautiful back cover. Everything about it is absolutely beautiful. The song Six Pack bugs me so much that this album almost lost because the first track is so strong. Fingers of Steel, and then Six Pack is this like Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh, it almost lost. The rest of the song's fine, just the beginning. But this, I think, has that feeling that I really like of sort of depth and meaning. And it has like a full scope to it. Like it ends with this track, All the People. So if you don't know this album, but again, all 5 of these, I would like to have all 5 of these on my in my containers back there. They are all good. This is just great. Don't ever let anyone tell you rock and roll is dead. Time for another new category. I'll look at this here. OMG, your last one was just a year ago. That's true. Last year was last year. Finally seeing BCNR next year. Awesome. Very, very good. Jockstrap. I've never seen Jockstrap in concert. Looking through here. Do I listen to the new BCNR live stuff? Only when I'm in concert. Did we skip past 11? We might have. I numbered things a little bit wrong. Thank you for paying attention. Proto Martyr and Squid are better in every way. It's not that good. Okay. I think I got to that. Now the Zoomer category. This is kind of a weird category, but speaking of debates that I've been having with my family, my son just got back from college, his first semester, and he's very disappointed at the level of curiosity of his classmates, and I understand that. But that's a universal thing. We are all looking for Athens. We're all looking, if we're curious and intelligent people, we are all looking for like some kind of great place where we're going to be surrounded by brilliance and love and art and beauty and all that stuff. And it doesn't matter if you go to Harvard or if you go to Lone Star Community College. You're not going to find it. You have to find it in yourself. You have to make it in yourself. You have to find a small group of people who feel like-minded like you are and build that. The point of this is all to say, one of the most consistent things that has been true throughout history is that every generation is smarter and better than the last generation. Okay? So Zoomers are better than millennials. Millennials are better than Xers. Xers are better than etc. It's just better, smarter. Okay? Sort of, and it doesn't seem that way because of TikTok. Okay? TikTok's kind of dumb. I get it. But realistically, political consciousness, thoughtfulness. And so this music that I've picked out here is like all Zoomer music, like very young music which if I didn't do this channel, I would not be able to relate to. I would not understand what the hell is going on with young people. So that's what this category is about. Now, the audience winner by far was some factor of 10 gex with their album, A Different Factor of 10 gex. It's not going to win for me, although I did really enjoy it. 1 second. I have another super comment here. The currency is Indian rupees. Been watching your videos since RTJ4. Appreciate the discussions. Hope 24 is a dope year for you and your family. Thank you again for the rupees. I've never gotten rupees before. So that's not going to win, but it's a great album. I think it's very great. What I like about it is that it's challenging the Zoomers that love it. So it's not exactly what you expect. Quanic only got 2%. It's a really good album. Quanic and Jane Remover, these are all on Dead Air Records, a label which I like a lot. Like just very good sort of bedroom rock. Like if that's such a thing that can really exist. Patricia Taxon, I haven't even reviewed yet because if you don't know Professor Sky lore, my early successes were few and far between, right? After my first year, I had 360 subscribers. Okay. So early successes, Patricia Taxon, I even reviewed her before she transitioned, right? So some of my older videos, I have to go back and make sure the dead names aren't still there. So her work was some of the most appreciated in the early days. Like early days, if it weren't for Hippocampus and Patricia Taxon, I wouldn't have had any viewers at all. So I'm going to get to that in January. There's like a total dead space in January. So I'm just going to like get to it, But it's got to be this album. This has got to be the Zoomer album of the year. Wall Socket by Underscores. It's like a great rap album. It's a great pop album. It's a great rock album. It's a great Zoomer album. It's got lore. It's got interesting political consciousness. It's got a story. It is just such a great album. And it totally makes me feel like I understand young people by trying to understand this album. Someone did say, I don't know who all these people are. I'm too black to understand this category. I will admit that I do not, when I'm saying young people and young generation, I am mostly talking about, I guess, largely online, mostly white audience. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But that is true. I don't know. I don't know much about that other DLC of the year. So this is a term that I came up with for like all these albums that are coming out that are doing this thing of reminding you that there was this great album that came out. And I think it's super necessary to have these little EPs that come out to remind you. Oh, wait, I forgot to pick one. Okay, I'm gonna have to pick it up on the spot here. You can tell me in the chat who you think it should be. But really, all of these were just great reminders. I mean, Tyler the Creator reminds you of something from last year. Every single track on there deserves and is just as good as Call Me If You Get Lost. The Jockstrap went the totally different direction and made a totally bizarre version of their previous album. Geese, a wonderful continuation. Again, much like Tyler the Creator, it's a perfect compliment. JPEG and Danny Brown. That's not going to win because I don't like the cover because it's encouraging vaping and vaping is killing people. But it's very good. Boy Genius was a reason for my daughter and I to go to Record Archive so that she could buy a little EP. Did you know, by the way, that Boy Genius is the second best-selling record for record stores? They told me that at Record Archive. So after Taylor Swift, obviously, who's like single-handedly carrying record stores across the world. Yeah, so it's not going to be Boy Genius. I'm trying to figure out. Should either be. Oh wait, did I have a who won this? Oh yes, pretty predictably, the audience award went to JPEG and Danny Brown. They're not going to win it for me because I don't like vaping. Jeez. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it to Tyler. I listened to it this morning. That's super good. And also, it's just really good. And made me happy to hear that music more. It was sort of like more of like a little joke. Not a joke, a continuation. These are my family picks. So another part of the lore. Oh wait, because that was the last category, right? Yeah, that was the last category. We're going to do the Champions League soon, though. So don't leave yet. 1 second. White women carrying the vinyl industry. That's true. Although I'm not sure. I don't know. I imagine that Taylor's fan base is fairly diverse. I don't know. I don't know about Boy Genius, though. I look at your comments here. Bo and Toby are always right. Yes. Bo and Toby are my dogs. If you don't know, this album doesn't win because I don't like vaping isn't a sentence I expected to hear today. Well, what are you going to do? I am a dad as much as I am a YouTuber. Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, did you know I'm kind of viral right now? So RXK nephew clipped my review of his song and quoted the part where I said, "Who do you pray to, bitch? I pray to my money stacks." And when I said that line, I did know that it was going to be funny to have a guy in a suit in his office saying, "Bitch, I pray to my money stacks." First of all, I'm misquoting. Turns out he's saying, "I pray to my money rag," which is funny. But it's really funny because it's like the opposite of what I pray to. Like the one thing I don't pray to is my money stacks. Like the whole point I was making was that the song was about a spiritual emptiness, and that's why he prays to his money stacks. But now, like my kids' friends like walk up to them and show them the meme of me saying, "Bitch, I pray to my money stacks." So, anyways, very very funny that ended up happening. So for the family picks, so Bo picked Quaranta. Bo is my dog. He is old and lumpy, and Bo has learned a lot in his old age, and he really liked Quaranta because it showed him that just because you're getting older doesn't mean you can't learn new tricks like being sober or like not spreading your butt juice everywhere. Let's see. I send my friends a clip of you saying I'm a hoe and I'm scared. What's from scaring the hoes? You're not supposed to be reading the comments. You're not reading the comments, are you? Okay, I did. Some of y'all are weird. To all my kids reading the comments. Not you, but the other people there. Yeah. So what is that weird banana on your wall? Hey, there's a good question. So that is from the album. That is the cover of the album Velvet Underground and Nico. It's one of my favorite albums. It has a song on it called Sunday Morning. And I really believe in traditions as a father. I really believe that traditions are very useful for kids to have like fun family traditions. So on Sunday, I make pancakes of varying quality. I finally have a good recipe from Kenji Lopez. But So every Sunday morning, we listen to the album. And it's great because there's only one song I really don't want them listening to, which is the song Heroin, which is the first track on side B. So I can just skip it very easily. So we listen to Sunday morning. We listen to Underground Nico every week. So it's one of my favorite albums. Plus, it's a very personal album. Plus, I love bananas. Like this right there is a banana with a porg on it. Last Jedi, one of the best blockbusters of this century. I'd say Last Jedi, Tron, the second Planet of the Apes movie. I think those are my three favorite blockbusters of this century. Yes, Kenji is the best. That's the Doctor and Mrs. very much liked it. So getting back, Toby picks Slauson Malone. Oh yes, someone's asking, is that the recipe with the egg whites whipped up separately? Yes, it is. If you are not making pancakes with egg whites whipped separately, you are missing out on beautifully good pancakes. Toby picks Slauson Malone because Slauson Malone made Toby bark. My son, as discussed, picks Travis Scott. Just says it's his favorite album. I'm picking Boy Genius for my daughter because she couldn't pick between Boy Genius and Lana Del Rey. Do you regret me picking that? No. She not only listens to Boy Genius all the time, she listens to Julian Baker. She listens to Lucy Dacus. She listens to Phoebe Bridgers. Like she bought the entire, you notice I didn't mention any Marvel movies. They're fine. They're not my favorite blockbuster movies. They're fine. Some of them are really good. She-Hulk, by the way, was a good show. It was a good show. Y'all are crazy and sexist. It was a good show. It's funny, but I'm not a big Super Marvel guy. But it really was the Avengers of these three people coming together. I'm so glad Professor Sky knows about Kenji. It's like your two cool uncles meeting. Yeah, like Kenji Lopez and I obviously don't know him, but he'll post stuff and my wife will show it to me. Like, hey, look, he's talking about Zelda. Isn't that the video game that you like? My wife's pick is Black Country New Road. To be honest, my wife's pick is the Beatles because that's all she's been listening to this whole year. I barely can even listen to music because she wants to listen to Beatles all the time. Who can complain? And then my baby really loved the Silver Cord by King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard. We really dance. She dances a lot. That's a good litmus test for music. So there you go. Now we have a new feature. Okay, an absolute new feature. Ooh, I got way too close to the microphone, which is the 2023 Champions League. Okay. So I am increasingly into the sport known as soccer or as football, association football. And if you don't know about the Champions League, it's kind of this neat thing because there's a lot of different leagues, right? There's like 7 major leagues like that really feed into it, sometimes 8. And like, how do you figure out who's the best team in England versus the best team in Italy? So different countries have different teams, and those get together and play an intercontinental championship, right? Within the continent, I mean. So like alternative rap is sort of like the Premier League, like they are going to get the most representation in general every year because that's what I listen to the most. That's what I like the most. I would say post-punk and rock, or maybe La Liga, the Spanish league, which, is the second most prestigious league. That's got Madrid, that's got Barcelona. You're going to see a lot of representation because what this is going to be the 12 best albums. So this whole thing is the best of the good. This is the bestest of the goodest. That's what this Champions League thing is up here. I made it cut off so you didn't notice that I misspelled Champions League. Champions League. Okay. And then I'd say Serie A, the Italian, is sort of your mainstream rap. I'd say Bundesliga is pop art and the rest. And of course, the league that I follow the closest, Ligue 1, the French league, that's Thunderground Thursday because they've only won once. Basile Bodi, Marseille, 1993, jamais les premiers. They beat AC Milan. So this is the idea. So I'm going to go through my top 12 albums, and some categories aren't going to be in here, right? So the Eredivisie, let's say that there's no representation from Serie A. Okay, Juventus isn't in here. Milan's not in here. There's no mainstream rap in this list. Okay, we'll see where they all come from. Okay, so right, these are your contestants. Wait, yeah, there you go. Oh, damn it. No. Don't get stuck. Ah! Okay. So these are the contestants. Okay. Boy Genius, Underscores, Shame, BCNR, Lil Yachty, Travis Scott, Law and Order, Geese, King Gizzard, Christian Michael Hayter, Billy Woods and Kenny Siegel, Aesop Rock. Okay, so those are my top 12 albums of the year. Let's see how they all slot in. Who will be champion? Lowest on this list is going to be that King Gizzard. I really do love this album, but that's not going to be that's going to be C tier. Again, this is C tier according to the 12 best albums of the year, the bestest of the goodest. Okay, Sky, not a true drainer. It's true. I'm probably not a true drainer. Did Blady, was the Blady's album this year? Was Spider this year? Can you tell me in the chat? Because I totally would have. Because I really like that album. I thought that was last year. Also down here, this is going to be, I think from the Bundesliga is going to be underscores, from your Zuma category. I guess that's a whole different one. We'll say that's the Turkish league. Okay. Again, I'm surprised this is super low this year, but Black Country New Road, I really enjoyed this album. It's one of my top 10 favorite albums of the year, but right there, from the Premier League, they're not going to make it. They're not going to make it into the S tier. Again, the best of the goodest. Okay, in a very similar way, Shame is not going to make it here as the best of the goodest. Okay, the bestest of the goodest. Okay, I know everyone's saying C tier, breaking heart. This is top 10. Okay, and this is the bestest of the goodest. I'm going to put a Boy Genius right here in the B tier because I listen to this album so much. Now, listen, do I realistically probably like a lot of these albums more? I guess. But sort of objectively speaking, with how it is, I think that's where I'm going to end up putting it. Aesop Rock is going to go right down here in B tier as well. Really enjoyed this album. Oh, which King Giz album do I mean? I mean Silver Chord. Petro Dragonovich isn't even one of the bestest of the goods. And then I'm also going to put, and this might shock you, I'm going to put Woods and Siegel here. Does this make you understand how serious the Champions League is? Okay. There are teams that make it to the Champions League that you would think should do great, but they eventually lose out. Not everyone can be the very best, the best there ever was, right? That's a different league, but still, you understand what I'm saying. Christian Michael Hayter is going to go here in A tier. One of the absolute best albums of the year. Definitely. I really enjoy it that much. Lil Yachty is not going to make it to S tier. It almost would have. But I made a decision this morning where I'm going to have 3 in A tier. And I believe all 3 of these are the 3 best albums of the year. Travis Scott, Law & Order, and Geese. I am having a very, very tough time figuring out between these. Now, not that tough of a time for Travis, okay? I think it's an S tier album. It's a very memorable album. It's a very important album. It'll be there for the ages. But I had a super tough time with these. I really, really did. But basically, they're tied. But there can only be one winner. Okay? So, have you listened to the Law & Order album yet? Those of you who are cursing my name because you want Geese, I love Geese too. They're basically tied. But this Law & Order album, after my interview, especially where I learned about, because the thing that made it hard for me to get into was its bleakness. But then when you understand the scope of the album, the movement of the album, the way that it goes from the darkest pits of pain and self-harm into this great moment. And it's not joy. It's not ecstasy. The place that it arrives at is not ecstasy. It is accepting the importance of waking up every day and going to sleep every night and staying alive. Okay? That's what that album is. It's about the joy of existing. And of course, it's a lot about experience of being trans and all that stuff. And it's not just that. But what an absolutely wonderful, spectacular album. So if I can do anything with this Stampys, it's hopefully to get you to learn to appreciate and love this. And I think she's going to keep releasing music, and I think she's eventually going to catch on. And that's why I'm putting Law and Order at the top there. Almost sounds like I'm saying Law and Order in a Boston accent. Law and Order. Hey, who would guess that Ethan Lamar would come on asking me to review Achilles Come Down with a super chat as well? The Wood's paper fell down a bit. Did it? Oh, I see what you say. DDM, Sheriff Tim Breaker, you got me. I was thinking maybe, I know, but this is the best of the goodest, and that's the way that I see it. Do you like this Champions League thing? Is it not too cheesy? Oh my God, I wanted to keep this thing to an hour and a half, and I think I did. All right, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to like officially end this. My Patreons. I got to remember my Patreons, but I'm going to officially end this this video, and then I'll stick around on the live chat. Like I'll clip it later. So if you want to, like, there's 113 of you in there. If you want to kind of stick around, and I'll make sure that my family knows that they're free to walk around and flush the toilet and stuff. Did you know when I make my videos, my family's not allowed to flush the toilet because it makes too much noise? There's a new super tier sponsor, Bruno Salazar. That was unexpected. Thank you so much for that. They helped me to buy music, and they helped me to buy diapers. So those are good things for different reasons. Again, I don't have a sponsorship, but only buy Pampers. You know what I'm saying? Never buy Huggies. Leaks every time. So thank you so much to my Patreons. It is very meaningful. I put on lots of exclusive videos. I do talks and shout outs and all that. Many of you are here. So I am going to say goodbye to the video. I'm going to stick around for the chat. Until next time, there's the camera.